So keeping it real, Karen Carpenter was married to a chump. If only she had left him a little bit sooner.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Mindset channel. You know, I was sitting here thinking if Karen was here, she would soon be celebrating another birthday. But we know that story and how it ended. But do we know the story about that marriage that she was in temporarily, just a couple of months and stuff like that? Man, oh man, I think she'd still be here with us today if she had just left a little bit sooner than she did. Let's take a look at that, and let's find out exactly what kind of guy this guy was.
And what are the immediate plans?
The immediate plan.
Now this lady right here, her voice could melt even the hardest heart. But behind the angelic voice was a woman searching for something she could never quite find. As a young girl, Karen was deeply romantic, believing in the fairy tale idea of love and marriage. However, growing up in the shadow of a protective family, especially under her mother Agnes's watchful eye, Karen found it difficult to fully explore relationships. Music was her escape, but she longed for the kind of love she sang about in her ballads. Family and career always came first. Romance? That was secondary. Now, she was shy, awkward, and uncertain about dating. Karen knew for sure only one thing, expressing her musical talents. But deep down, she wanted what every girl wanted, a partner who would cherish her for who she truly was, not the superstar she became. As Karen Carpenter grew older, the angelic voice behind the Carpenters wanted to be more than just music. She longed for love, family, and a kind of connection that could bring true happiness. But despite her rising fame, relationships proved difficult to navigate. The relentless touring and recording schedules left little room for a personal life. Karen admitted that the music business made it hard to meet people, and she refused to marry just for the sake of it. Now, Karen's first real dates came in her early 20s, after the Carpenters had taken off. But dating as a star wasn't easy. Most men were either intimidated or saw her as a trophy. Karen, however, was the kind of woman who wanted to fall in love completely. She tried dating a number of men, one being Terry Ellis, co-founder of Chrysalis Records. Now, they hit it off, and Karen, ever the romantic, thought this might be the one. But it wasn't. Terry wasn't quite ready for the level of love Karen desired. Then she dated Steve Martin, the rising comedian. He made her laugh, and for a time Karen thought maybe laughter could be love. But Steve never saw the relationship as serious as Karen did. Once again, Karen was left longing for something more. Out of all the guys she saw, her biggest heartbreak came from Tom Baller, a musician in the Carpenters circle. Yeah, Karen fell hard, believing that they had something deep, but she was devastated when she discovered he had written a song, "She's Out of My Life," about another woman while he was with her. Yeah, that's the song that Michael Jackson later performed. So Karen Carpenter's journey through love was as complex as it was tragic. Her brother Richard saw all of this. He knew Karen was searching for something she couldn't quite grab. The mother, Agnes, she didn't make things easier either. Agnes was convinced that no man would ever be good enough for her daughter, and perhaps that was the problem. But enter the perfect man, or so it seemed. In June of 1980, Karen met real estate developer Thomas Burris. He was charming, confident, and said all the right things. Burris, nearly a decade older than Karen, presented himself as a successful and wealthy businessman. Karen, eager to settle down and start a family, was smitten. After just 2 months of dating, they announced their engagement. Friends and family were shocked by the haste, especially given the 9-year age difference. Burris was 39 and Karen was 30. And I won't leave out the fact that Burris was also the father of an 18-year-old son from a previous marriage. Now, Karen's family, especially Richard, had reservations about the marriage from the start. They were aware of the rushed courtship and Burris's questionable character. Unfortunately, their concerns proved valid as they watched Karen's health and happiness decline. Red flags were everywhere, but Karen seemed to ignore them. And as the wedding date approached, disturbing revelations surfaced. Just days before the rehearsal dinner, Burris confessed that he had undergone a vasectomy before meeting Karen. Man, this was a devastating blow to her dream of starting a family. Karen felt betrayed. Burris offered to reverse the procedure, but he hesitated and remained on the fence about it, knowing Karen's desire to have children. She was heartbroken, but her mother dismissed Karen's plea to cancel the wedding. Agnes had already funded most of the wedding preparations, and the invitation had been sent. So Karen, pressured by her mother, felt compelled to go through with the wedding. But there were even more secrets to come. Tom Burris was not the man he claimed to be. In reality, he was deep in financial trouble. By the time they were engaged, Burris was reportedly near $1 million in debt. He even asked Karen to sign over a large sum of her money before they were married. Now, this is a move that deeply unsettled those closest to her. Despite these glaring issues, the wedding plans were too far along. Agnes, having spent a fortune on the extravagant event, pressured Karen to go through with it. Whether out of guilt, fear, or desperate hope that love would conquer all, Karen agreed. On August 31st, 1980, she married Tom Burris in a lavish ceremony. But by then, the dream was already crumbling. The marriage quickly turned sour. Burris began asking Karen for large sums of money, $35,000, $50,000 at a time. He'd give some excuse, and Karen, hoping to make things work, would just give in. Eventually, this dude drained all her liquid assets, leaving her with only stocks and bonds. Karen's family and friends were concerned about Burris's reckless financial habits. This fella really couldn't afford the expensive cars, the house, or even the wedding ring. Karen confided in friends about how miserable and trapped she felt. And Burris was also emotionally checked out when Karen needed him the most. And he was also being critical of her appearance, which helped in no way but to make things worse. After a major argument with Burris at a family dinner, Karen decided to separate from him, but the damage was done. And after the separation, Burris didn't make any adequate attempts to fix things, nor did he support Karen emotionally at a time when she needed his support. So by late 1981, the marriage was effectively over, a roller coaster ride that lasted just a little over a year. After 14 months, Karen made the painful decision to leave. Karen made the painful decision just to end it all. Tragically, her battle with anorexia worsened, fueled by the emotional turmoil of a failed marriage. So Karen filed for divorce on October 28, 1982, while hospitalized at Lenox Hill. But unfortunately, she passed away just before signing the divorce papers. But you know that the divorce was finalized. She had lost more than just money. She had lost time, hope, and a part of herself. The emotional toll was too much, and many believed it only worsened her already fragile health. At the time of her death, Karen's net worth was estimated to be about $6 million. That's like $14 million today. But most of it was tied up in the long-term assets. Leaving it up to Burris, she only had about $2,000 in her bank account. In her revised will, Karen left her marital home to Burris, but bequeathed the rest of her estate to her family. You can keep the house. So, why did Karen Carpenter really get divorced? The answer is clear. Deception, financial ruin, and emotional abuse. Tom Burris wasn't the man he pretended to be, and Karen, despite her romantic nature, could no longer ignore the harsh reality. Man, it's sad. She would never get the second chance at love she so desperately deserved. It was 1983. Karen passed away at just 32 years old from a heart failure, a consequence of a lengthy struggle with anorexia nervosa. She became one of the first celebrities to publicly address this devastating illness. Her funeral was held on February 8, 1983 at Downey United Methodist Church, and it was attended by approximately 1,000 mourners, including her friends Dionne Warwick, Dorothy Hamill, Olivia Newton-John, and Petula Clark. And yes, her estranged husband, Thomas Burris, showed up. And for what? Eventually placing his wedding ring into her casket. Ain't that something? That fellow right there. Thomas James Burris is now believed to be on his third wife and would be around 85 years old by the end of 2025, if he hasn't passed away by then. They say since then he's led a secretive life, protecting his personal information from the public, making it difficult to track him down. But honestly, for most of us, it don't matter, bro, because you played a big role in why Karen Carpenter isn't with us today. Now, Karen Carpenter's story remains a cautionary tale, not just about love, but about the consequences of being pressured into a life that isn't truly yours. As much as she gave the world through her music, Karen Carpenter's greatest wish was simple: to be loved for who she really was. This lady's voice was unique, with its soothing tone and extensive range, making her stand out. Critics praised her for the vulnerability she expressed, connecting listeners to the emotional depth of her songs. So to be honest, there's no need to look farther down the line, because ain't another one coming. I'm just calling it like I see it. Hey guys, I hope y'all appreciate this type of stuff on the Music Mindset channel. I'm Mr. Mindset, and I appreciate you, and I thank you guys for always checking out the videos. And I'm gonna get back to work, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks.